Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Today we have one more set of great revenge stories. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. And our first story. Revenge on the boss from hell. So after leaving my job with my horrible boss of almost a year, I found a job in the other grocery store across town. This new store that I worked at was a discount grocery store, which basically means that we would get overstock from the other stores. Stuff that didn't sell, outdated items. Not insanely outdated, we still had some standards on the food we could sell. Anyways, we would still order regular stuff from the vendors, and since we would usually buy some of their overstock and outdated stuff as well, we would get a little bit of a better deal on whatever else we bought. Getting a better deal meant that we could pass on some of the savings to the customer. My old boss would occasionally send some of the managers from the other store in to scope out our prices so that they could see if they could beat it and sell more than we could. Normally, my new boss, Ralph, wouldn't mind. He'd just let it go. Eventually, though, he started to get a little upset about it and told me to ask them to kindly leave. I'd been hoping for this ever since they started coming in and scoping prices. So I went out to two of our assistant managers, Paul and Larry, and kindly asked them to leave. Before I move on, here's a little background on the two grocery stores I worked at. The first one, aka the one with the horrible boss, was a chain store. Therefore, anybody below a manager really had no power whatsoever. The new one, aka the one with the better boss, was only 3 stores, and the owners of the store really wouldn't take much crap from others. So we had quite a bit more power than I used to have. Anyway, they informed me that I'm not allowed to tell them to leave since I'm not a manager and that anybody can shop in there. I laugh and tell them that my manager had told me to ask them to leave and that if they didn't, I would call the police to have them escorted out of the building. They leave without more incident. I'm happy since these two, along with Mike, made my life hell for the past year. I go about my job, warehouse attendant, and start running the forklift and trying to rearrange the warehouse. I get called up front to go carry out some groceries for an older lady, and as I walk back in, who else would show up? It's lovely old Mike. He asked me why I kicked out his 2 managers, and I informed him that if they wanted to come and actually shop, they were at perfect liberty to do that. But if they were just going to scope out prices so they could beat it, then they were not allowed back in the store. And if he was going to cause trouble, he can't enter the store either. So I turn my back to him, walk back in, and tell our checkers to call me if Mike comes in and starts trouble. I go to the back. Not even 60 seconds later, I get a call from the checkers telling me that he's scoping out prices as well, and that my boss Ralph was gone and they wanted me to take care of it. I walk out from the back, see Mike writing down some prices from something, and approach him. Me. Mike, if you're going to be scoping out prices, you can leave now. Mike, you're not a manager. I don't have to listen to you. You can't kick me out anyways. Me. My boss gave me permission to kick out anybody from the old store if they're just going to come in and scope out prices. I can tell that's what you're doing, so you need to leave. Mike, I'd like to see you make me. Me, I'll give you about 10 seconds to start walking towards the door. If you don't, I'll call police to escort you out. 10 or 15 seconds go by where we just glare at each other with as much contempt as we can manage. I pull out my phone, call the non-emergency line for our local police department. PD. This is City Name Police Department, non-emergency line. How can we help you? Hi, this is Braves Fan 417. I'm over at New Store Name, and I have a customer here who's causing troubles, and we've asked to leave, but he won't. Can I get somebody over here to help, please? Braves Fan 417? I hadn't seen you over at Old Store Name in a while. I was wondering where you were. Anyway, it's a small town. Who is it? Maybe we can just talk to them on the phone and get them to leave. Me. It's Mike from Old Store Name. He's scoping out our prices, and my boss has given me permission to kick anybody out from the store that's just over here scoping out prices. And that's all he's doing, so we would like him removed. PD. Yeah, normally for something like this, I would just ask the person to leave from the phone. But Mike was being a jerk to my wife the other day. I'm on my way. So 5 to 10 minutes pass by where I help a few customers out while Mike scopes out more prices. Police show up, cashiers tell him where I'm at, and we walk over to Mike. PD. Mike, you've been asked to leave. You need to leave. Technically, you're trespassing. Mike, this is a free country. I can go where I please. PD, unfortunately, you've been told that you're not allowed on these premises. Therefore, you can't go where you like. Leave or I'll escort you out in handcuffs. Mike, do you think you intimidate me, Officer Jones? To clarify, Mike is probably 6'3" or 6'6", 250 to 275 pounds. That's like 190.5 to 198.1 centimeters and 113.5 to 124.9 kilograms, while our officer is roughly 5'10" and 175, 177.8 centimeters and 68.1 kilograms. PD, Mike, I'm going to ask you one more time, then if you don't leave and try to intimidate me more, I'm going to tase your butt, you'll pee your pants, and I'll drag you out. I've had enough of your crap. Let's go. Mike looks at the taser on the cop's belt, gives both of us the dirtiest look he can come up with, and leaves. We both crack up laughing, and the cop ends up giving me his direct number. Neither of us like Mike, and he wants to be the one to deal with him if anything should arise again. And our second story. It's not wise to be rude to your ride to the airport. This was around Thanksgiving 2015. My family gets together at a rural-ish cabin. I'd agreed to give my younger sister a ride to the airport on Sunday since she was on a short break from college and had important classes and tests to get back to after Thanksgiving. I'd also agreed to lock up the cabin for my parents since they had to leave on Saturday to get back for pressing work matters. During the post-dinner bull-crapping on Thanksgiving, my sister decided to give me crap about the bad couple of months I'd had. A long-term girlfriend of mine had broken up, and the company I worked for folded. This went beyond normal sibling crap-flinging, including her saying something to the effect of, "Who'd date or hire a worthless failure loser like you anyway? Your girlfriend was probably sleeping with your boss and dumped you both when she learned you were both failures." She was called out on her crude remarks by several family members, but refused to apologize. I seemingly let it slide. I had plenty of emergency funds, had a few job prospects lined up, was hired shortly after, and got a nice salary bump, actually, and I was okay with being single. Her vehemence was out of left field, though, and uncalled for. Sunday morning, I waited for her in the kitchen with a bottle of Jack Daniels. "Hey, Heather," I said when she entered the kitchen, "want to apologize for your crappy comments the other night?" She laughed. "What, about you being a jerk failure?" "Nope. Let's get going. I have a flight to catch." "Fair enough," I responded, and poured myself a double and knocked it back. "What the F are you doing? I have a plane to catch." "You sure do," I responded, cheerfully. I paused and repeated the pour and slam. "Well, F, it looks like I've had too much to drink to drive. Guess we'll have to wait until you're effing civil, won't we?" She pulled out her phone and screwed with it for a few seconds before I said, "There aren't any cab companies or Ubers around here. I'm your only ride. So you can apologize for being a B, or you can miss your flight." "F you." I grinned and took another shot. In short, I got absolutely crap-faced. She missed her flight, missed some tests, and her GPA plummeted. It was effing hilarious. And our third story. Won't train me to comp employee meals, then fire me over a short bank? Here's your Department of Labor inquisition. I started at a Roadhouse bar with the city's name as the first title word. Everybody knew this bar. Coming from 10 years of bartending and serving experience, the hiring manager was as nice as could be. I get a spot and quickly prove my worth. I'm the opener, trusted with keys and deposits within 3 months. Their turnover rate was crazy high, and I was soon to find out why. It was a Sunday, and 85% of the bar staff drink heavily. They were all tanked the night before, so I'm the only opener as usual. 2 employees come in with families for lunch, and I do my best to earn a tip. Their bills are ready, and both tell me to comp it, which is okay, because we officially get 1 comped meal each week, family included. Both bills come out to about $60 to $70. They both tip me well. End of the night, I can't find a manager to comp out my tickets. "No big deal," says closing bartender. "We'll just do your tickets, and you can get the cash the next day." Stupid, stupid me. I agree. Looks like a bar donation. Look, I'll get to it. It wasn't a joke. He refused to pay me for almost 3 months. I hit my final straw when I had a walkout table for over $100. Boss said it was coming out of my comp. I lost my crap. Called the police, cops come, basically tell me the whole situation is a civil matter and to call the Department of Labor. Okay, sounds good. Terry, the a-hole owner, dodges the DOL for about a month, not answering emails, is on out of business each time they make a stop. I know what he's doing, so I decide to go in as a patron late one night. Sure enough, he's drunk as F and talking crap to another coworker, so I called the one contact at the DOL who said to call any time, night or day, if I saw him. Police come and he's arrested. He makes bail the next morning and is out on bond. Asked me to meet up. I agree, with my lawyer driving me and recording our meeting. He tried to threaten me, and when that didn't work, he tried to cry. But I told him to pay me or F off. He then said, Sarah said the same thing. Who's Sarah? Sarah's the woman who was already in the same place that I was and had him over a barrel for the same stuff. She had a big walkout over $200 and he kept her paycheck, so she took him to court as well. He still refused to pay me that day, so I gleefully told him that I'd see him in court alongside Sarah. My check came in 3 working days, and it included both comps, the walkout, and full minimum wage for training days, which I didn't expect. Sarah went ahead and took him to court and wiped the floor with him. I got a nice payday of almost $600, and they're now shut down as of last January. F you, Terry. He was willing to get arrested over $600? Wow, that's tough. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.